Okay, hello guys, we're gonna go ahead and get started. We have met Cora, so I'm gonna be covered. Good to see y'all today. I know the weather was kind of crazy. So we'll just get started with roll call. If you're on Zoom, I'm sorry, if you're on Zoom, just make sure you listen here. Senator Otiocha. Senator Bugaris. Senator Ricardo. Present. Senator Holman.
Here.
Senator Elias. Here. Senator Ostroff. Senator Robles.
I'm here. Here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Here. Senator Adams.
Here.
Senator Scott.
Here.
Senator Richardson.
Here.
Senator Templeton.
Here.
Senator Capel.
Here.
Senator Okiki.
Here.
Senator Reed.
Present.
Senator Rowling.
Here.
Senator Schwartz. Here. Senator Arsenio. Present. Senator Malcotto. Here. Senator Ahmad.
Here.
Senator Sethi.
Present.
Senator Valdez.
Here.
Senator Bennett.
Here.
Senator Moats. Senator Aljacoby.
Here.
Senator Page.
Here.
Senator Romero. Senator Carranza. Senator Cazares.
Here.
Senator Kajat.
Present.
Senator John.
I'm here.
It doesn't matter. Soon, can y'all hear us better now, or is it still really quiet? Yeah. Gosh, that's still saying that you gotta do the thumbs up. Oh. Let me hold the minutes. Okay, these are the minutes from our last meeting. Secretary Henry sent these out to everyone, but like always, I'll do one last scroll through. Did anyone have any questions of last meeting's minutes or anything that they want them to? Okay, all right. Okay, I entertain a motion to vote on last week's meeting.
Very good motion.
Okay, all those in who approve last meeting minutes, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. All those opposed to last week's minutes, please raise your hand. And any abstentions? Okay, so last week's minutes. Passed. Okay, is anyone here for open forum? So just a quick recap for open forum, our guest has 5 minutes and then the floor is not open up for questions after. But if you guys would like to open up for discussion, you can do so in your business. Screen share? Yeah, only if I'm all right. All right.
Alrighty, so. I know. I'm not coming to y'all as Senator McCarter, I'm actually coming to y'all as Ms. Tyler with Miss America Organization. So, a few things about the Miss America Organization is that it's the #1 providing scholarship for women in America. It's not just about pageants or dresses or glam, it's about education, scholarship, success, service, and so much more. Why am I bringing this to you, you may ask? In East Texas, we don't have that many Miss America Organization locals. And what a local is, it's a first step to go to Miss America. It's like you go to Miss America, then you go to Miss Texas, and then you go to Miss America. Local, state, Miss America. And so I am in the works of talking to a few of the universities. Higher ups to see if it's a possibility to get one here for the University of Texas at Tyler. I feel it would be very beneficial to the students, and I hope to have those conversations so it can be here. Just last year alone, Miss America gave away $200,000 in scholarship money, and that was $700,000 in just application money from girls applying to specific scholarships with the Miss Texas organization, and then saying, hey, you meet these qualifications, here's some scholarship money. So it is a really big deal. Obviously, there's a lot of hoops to go around to create a local, but if the university starts with those hoops, it can start as soon as next pageant season, which starts in after Miss Texas in June. So what I'm asking is not to have the event here, but to start having the endorsement, to start having those discussions and having student government see the benefit of having this scholarship opportunity here at the university. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you pull the agenda back up? Is anyone else here for open forum? Or seeing none, we don't have anyone for speakers coming up today. So we'll move right along to officer reports. So for me, I've just really been planning for the end of the year, just trying to make sure we have all of our ducks in a row, basically, before we round it out and pass on to the new leadership in SGA. But I met with Dr. Calhoun. I think I told you guys about that last time. I can't remember, but I met with Dr. Calhoun, and then my next meeting with him is going to be with Allison, our incoming president. So we're going to be able to start doing some transition meetings, which would be really nice. And then tomorrow I meet with faculty senate president. So we're gonna get to see how they're rounding out their year, and we were pretty much on the same page the whole time with everything. So it's really cool to collaborate with him and staff and president as well. And then with keyboard, we've been just talking about banquet, and just finishing out the year.
Been working on some final things, like Chloe said, just finishing out the year, talking about banquet. I'll get a little bit more into that later in the event and into all the business. But that's it for my officer for right now.
Secretary Gary Snow, last week, I spent a couple of minutes and I met with, the girl from Delta Gamma to make sure that the ingredients people had everything they needed. We recently added her burger, so to make sure she's able to get transferred easily. And also I had to drop off the waivers to her, so everyone's waivers who signed their stuff, they gave it to me, was also given to her, and everything's.
On Friday, I met with Josh and we went over end of year budget, what we have left. I've also been relaying that information to Vice President Carnes and the rest of the board as we were going to meet this week and start more heavily planning for that. We met with 4 student organizations last week, so I've been communicating with a lot of student orgs, lots of emails. And on Sunday, we had our first anchor games practice with Senator Richardson and Senator Okafor. We did great, so I was having fun with that.
Chief of Staff Chandler, I have mainly just been working with rules as always. We've been working on our PowerPoint to show you guys for next week. With all the changes that we want to bring forth. In addition to that, I've been working really closely with Senator Romero with transition documents and getting her ready to be chief of staff next year. So that's been very exciting and fun, but that's pretty much it. Rick, committee reports?
Well, I'll say banquet for the banquet discussion in old business, but for April 19th, which is next Friday. The Recycle Mania event, if you cannot be there for at least 1 hour, please submit an absence request. We are only requiring you at least serve 1 hour during this time of the event. It is from 9 to 3. There is a bunch of stuff to do during it. I'm just gonna give the whole rundown again. From 9 to 12, that's when the campus cleanup event is happening, where we're gonna start in the plaza. So at 9 o'clock, we're gonna meet up in the plaza. For those who can be there at 9, then we're gonna just kind of disperse and just send people to different areas, just targeting places that get overlooked, places that get a lot of trash, and making sure we are being an active participation of keeping our campus green and just making our campus look nice. Then from 12 to 3, that's just the recycle drop-off point. I did get housing on board, the university center on board, campus activities is paying for food. University center is giving out shirts, and I'm gonna ask housing to provide prize whoever gives the most recyclables. And so it's going really well. I have a final meeting with everyone who is involved, all the pro staff. Coming on this Thursday. So by next week's meeting, we should be all ready to go. Everything all to get settled, but I will say the rest about banquet for business.
Any cases committee event yesterday, want to kind of get an idea about like, I don't want to make a video just to like wrap up what we did at SGA all like semester or all year. So it's just like a simple little video that shows all our memories. Hopefully, I'll talk to you about it tomorrow morning just to see what exactly we want to highlight and things like that. Just the presentation to show you guys how to complete.
Senator Ajapodi. So for SGAC, we met with 4 organizations last week. We went with HSA and approved $328.36 for their end of year banquet. We approved RUF for $96.07 for their tacky prom. BSA for $171.97 for their end of year party. And SIS for $160.12 for their lunch and discuss event.
This real quick. This is the first time that we had a UT Tyler Medical School for request. It's SIS, which is a Surgery Interest Society. So I'm not sure like a lot about what they do, but yeah, so we approved it.
Rules committee, again, like I said, met last week. It was very quick meetings, very like 30 minutes probably, which usually is very short for us. But we just kind of talked about what we wanted to really finalize with all of you next week. We have approximately 7 to 8 changes that we want to make, and that's in the Constitution and in the and in the House rules. And they're all going to be put on one PowerPoint so that we can show them all to you next week. And then we have 4 things that we want to bring up during the PowerPoint as well for like the future rules committee. If any of y'all have been interested in joining this semester, but if you just didn't, maybe next semester or next year you'd like to join, you definitely can if these topics interest you. The topics that we did in PowerPoint, of course. And then, like I said, next week we'll do all the voting for these changes and all the discussion for these changes. But yeah, it was a really good meeting. One here from ESC that wants to report.
Hey, Senator Richardson, I'm on that committee. It was also a really brief meeting last week. We were just kind of getting ready for the event. I know that there were a few things that we were talking to what's her name, Miss Bonnie, I believe. We've had, I think, a little bit of a lapse in communication, but we're still have some stuff we're talking about with her, so that's less that we really have. It was a really short meeting, so.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely, unexpectedly.
Okay, so moving on to student voice reports, I have school medicine back up there, they were on there last week, but no one got to present, so school medicine. I think they're all on soon. No one wants to do it.
So just real quick to kind of cover what Soren just asked, or somebody, I think it was Soren. So the student interest groups at the School of Medicine, they're similar to kind of like the major specific interest groups or student organizations that are made at the undergraduate campus. So the student organizations at the School of Medicine are more specialty specific. So that's kind of like the only organizations that we have. So if you see requests coming from those different organizations, there are different ones like a surgery interest group, a pediatric interest group. So that's kind of what that looks like. But as far as what's going on at the School of Medicine, we're finishing up our third block right now. We have finals coming up. And then we'll be in our 4th out of 7th block of our preclinical sciences. And then we're kind of just getting ready for the second class. They start in July. So that class will be finalized like at the very end of the month for sure. And then really our Senate at the School of Medicine is just working on kind of mediating between student input and giving that feedback to our faculty and adjusting, making some tweaks in our curriculum to make sure that any things that need to be fixed or addressed are ready for the second class.
And then Senator Huntcomb or Senator.
So to add to that, so we had some students go over to Austin to kind of see the Texas Advanced Computing Systems to kind of see how they can, will I say, implement it in their research. And then also the School of Medicine is getting ready for the new PhD program. And so we're kind of having external supervisors coming in today and tomorrow. And they're going to meet with students to kind of get their input, ideas and all of that to kind of see the new PhD program on its feet by next year.
All right, I think that's all about it. I don't have anything else to add.
Okay. Moving on to school health professions.
Senator Simpleton, so my recent thing that I've been asking is been with people signing up for classes for next year. We just got a new advisor, so people are able to book through her eventually like next year. But for right now, it's just with one advisor. But apart from that, everything's been cool. So that's all.
And then Houston Engineering Center. You guys are next. Thank you.
For Houston Engineering Center, what we just had is the Ratliff relays for our community colleges. So we hosted them this weekend. We've had a little bit of scheduling conflicts with meeting with our dean, but we're working on meeting up with him soon. Other than that, people tried to do the write-in for our ballot, but I think they were having some trouble with it. Aside from that, we're just trying to keep up with the student organizations and making sure that people are engaged in student activities.
Senator Cazares here, Houston Engineering Center representative. I want to add on to what Senator Maria was saying. As far as everything's going at the school, everyone seems very content, especially with the visit from Joshua Neves. They're very happy with that. They feel like their voices are being heard a lot more. And we recently got a student success coordinator in order to coordinate things, any concerns between main campus and our campus. So students are very happy about that. I think the only concern is, I believe, students are concerned about courses only being available once a semester per year. But that might not be a Houston campus. It might be a overall College of Engineering. But other than that, the students are very happy and they're just trying to keep up all their organizations and making sure they're involved with main campus and ourselves.
I don't see. Okay, so with that, we'll move on to old business. I entertain a motion to have a discussion about our end of year bank. Okay, so motion.
Seconded.
Okay, questions on cards? So talk with the executive board and events committee of kind of like what we're needing, kind of narrowing those final details. I kind of brought it to last week and kind of how much we kind of need, like we kind of need a little bit extra funds because midnight breakfast is quite expensive. And so if we want to have a good end of year banquet to celebrate all our accomplishments, we're gonna have to reallocate some money. And the events committee did some math, did some budgeting, and we only need like 1,300 out of the full what?
So it's about 2,000. And I can sort of expand on that, how we got to that. If I need to, but
Go ahead.
that does work. So. After everything we spent this year, we have about $7,600 left. However, there are some big charges that have not hit yet, including food from one of the midnight breakfasts and some shirts. We also have to take 2,200 out of that for sender projects and probably an additional 1,000 off that for satellite sender projects. So that leaves us with about 2,000 to 3,000. And just to be extra safe, narrowing that down to 2,000, which the 1,300 is within.
Yep. And some people were confused on where that money is coming from. Like, where are we pulling that from? So just what we have left over.
So. That, my impression from the meeting I had with Josh is that it's based on the total amount of money that we've spent. So we haven't gone over in any of the categories necessarily. But that is also just based on how you interpret the fund. So SGA marketing, SGA awards have traditionally been a part of the budget. And the money can easily go in either response.
Okay. But something I just wanna like ask y'all, is there's something we should kind of think about in the events committee, is like, is an end of the banquet something that the senators want?
Two things. I wanted to ask Hornberg, so that 1,300 will be coming out of the 2,000 that's dictated for senator projects?
No, it's, okay, so we've spent. Okay, we have not spent $7,600. That's what we have left. After
Yes.
all the charges that have hit so far. We have a couple more big charges that have not hit yet. So that takes about, to be safe, like 2,000 to 2,500. It's just however safe you want to make it, just so that we don't go negative.
Yeah,
And then with that, there's a 2,200 guaranteed for sender project, so that's about 4,200 out of that 7,600. So that was about 3,300 left.
Just to
So
that is
clarify,
for,
like, from my understanding, I don't think we need to pull anything. But like, I still want to have a discussion of, do y'all want to have a banquet?
Yeah.
Okay, I entertain emotions, because I just want to see how, like, an actual vote. Or like, or a show of hands of who actually wants a banquet. I don't want anything, just show of hands who actually wants a banquet for us to put on. Thank y'all. I entertain a motion to close discussion about banquet.
I have a question about the banquet. So does that amount of funds that we have, sorry, does it reset at the end of the year?
It does, but there's like a technicality, so I think during the summer, it doesn't reset until after that. Because the E-board will come in after the Senate.
So what
So,
about the money that they're gonna use on that?
yeah, that's calculated into that money that we were looking at. The money that we spend will have no like negative effect, as long as it's within that sort of safe. area.
Senator Adams,
Actually,
it's only,
I'll let him go first.
only the president can call on the list.
Okay, and I was gonna call him.
Uh, okay. I know I just asked this and it feels like it kind of got danced around a little bit because the way we talked about it last week, it was we are pulling this money from center projects. And I understand there are charges that have not hit yet, but if we vote to move this $1,300, will that reduce the amount available for senator projects? I understand it won't for the summer, but for the time now.
It will not, and that's because I met with Josh on Friday.
Okay.
And that was, to sort of clarify those concerns. So, cause I don't have the exact numbers of like. Cause as a student, I don't have access to like financial.
Yeah.
Actual financial purposes. So after meeting with him and looking at what we have, that's sort of what we came up with. And, yeah, I was unable to answer the question before then.
So just provide we don't need any money around?
No, it's not taking away money from anything, 'cause that's the money that we have. But, you don't wanna spend too
Right.
much, just.
So
Senator Adams.
Senator Adams, I know we said 1,300, what's the breakdown of this allocation?
most of it is going to food and the other is going to awards.
Okay.
So like 250 is going to awards. And whatever math is, the other number is going to food. Like I said, I believe I said that last week we're having Olive Garden. We're doing like the create your own pasta station that they're having, we're making sure that everyone will have food, and we're also scheduling to make sure everyone can bring a +1 if they would like to. That's just what me and the executive board decided, that we all decided that we would like to have a +1 to bring someone if we would like to, just have that opportunity, and to have, and so with that money, part of it is going to awards and the actual ceremony part. And the other part is just going to be us.
Senator Bennett, you have any of that?
Yes, I was gonna ask, would we vote on that this meeting? To move the funds?
No, we don't need to move any funds. Because we didn't have exactly those questions answered last week, and so we're just coming back. Feel like, because we found out the details that we actually do have more money than we originally thought last week. Because Soren sat down with Josh, broke it down, and so we actually have more money than what we originally thought last week. And so we should not have to move any money, all that money, we have enough money to fund this banquet. Just to recap, there's a lot of people had a lot of questions from last week, just answering the questions. Then we also found out the answer about if we need to move money. That answer is now no, because we did some calculation, we did, Soren broke down the budget with Josh. And came back to me and be like, hey, this is what we have, this is what we're able to actually use, which was more than what we originally thought from last week. So sorry for the confusion on that one, sorry for any confusion, but we should not vote on anything moving money wise because that is covered. Sorry for the little confusion. Does anyone have any more questions before we wrap this up?
Chief Staff Chandler, Senator Robles was in the chat and she was asking what day the banquet would be held, and I educated her that it was going to be the 23rd. But then she educated us in saying that the engineering senators have a capstone project on that day. So is the 23rd a day that we want to do it, or do we want to move it around so that people can attend at different campuses, or?
Yeah, just to clarify, we've been working in the executive board to try to find dates that work for everyone, including our distance campus centers. So like Chief of Staff Henry was saying, the 23rd is kind of where we're at right now, but if that's not good for anyone, or if there would be a different date where our distance senators could attend, that would be more beneficial for y'all, please let us know. Or if you're not able to attend at all, then we'll have to decide from there, but like I said, we would love to have you, so. kind of directing that at the Houston Senators, but anyone is welcome to give their feedback. Senator Page.
Senator Page, would the following weekend be available? So that might make it easy for distant senators come in as, you know, classes will have.
The ideal weekend would be the 20th or the 21st. Is that weekend is before finals.
Okay.
And nothing else.
Senator Ajabobi, I think the weekend of the 20th and the 22nd would be best, because I haven't decided on the 23rd. So, yeah.
Okay, and executive board, we were looking more towards that Sunday, so the 21st.
What about the 24th? Day, yeah.
The reason we picked the 23rd or the 21st is because one's the weekend and one is our normal meeting time.
Do you have a supposed time for the Sunday 21st one?
Same time.
Okay.
Exactly time. At 5:30 to 7. Houston Senators, I would like to hear from y'all if y'all would like to attend on to, if we move it to Sunday, would y'all like to attend?
I think that would work best for us. At least for me, it would give me a chance to go over there because I can't do the weekday. Because of travel and stuff, especially since we're kind of in the middle of presenting projects and stuff, we wouldn't be able to attend during the weekday.
Perfect, then the consensus I've gotten is us moving it to that Sunday, the 21st. Yes, I entertain a motion to move our banquet date from the 23rd to the 21st.
Seconded.
Okay, all those in favor of having our banquet on April 21st, which is a Sunday, please raise your hand. Okay, please put your hands down. That was 17 hands. All those opposed to having our banquet on the 21st, please raise your hand. I see 5 hands, please put your hands down, and then any abstentions. You just need this. Be careful. Okay, so it looks like that passed for our banquet to be on the 21st. If not everyone can make it, that's obviously really unfortunate, but I'm really glad we're gonna have a banquet and so that some of our distance campuses can come. But then we'll talk in new business about our actual meeting on that, since we're not gonna use that time slot anymore, so.
I entertain to close, entertain a motion to close discussion about, banquet.
Carrie said motion.
Seconded.
Does anyone have anything else they'd like to add for all business? Okay. Seeing none, moving on to new business, I entertain a motion to discuss our April 23rd speakers programs.
Seconded.
Okay, so it's looking like Dr. Kaufman will not be able to make it, but I'm still working with everyone basically to see if there will be like another date or I don't know, we're working on it, maybe a video or Zoom in, I'm not sure. But so that's why I wanted to open the floor up to you guys. Is there anyone that you guys would like to be invited to our last meeting? And Dr. Mimran is coming next time to talk about parking, so we don't need to talk about that. But our last meeting, April 23rd, anyone that you guys have been talking to, faculty, staff, administration wise, that it would be beneficial to invite? Senator Bennett?
Yes, since this entire year, we've talked a lot about budgets, about fees, about different things. And I know I brought up a couple meetings ago about having a budget presentation by the comptroller and the chief business officer. I think that would be something good to have to kind of see where the budget this year was going and kind of what we can expect from next year.
Okay, so the last meeting that I had with John Sprinkle, the controller, which is he's talking about, he actually showed me he's working on a breakdown of the budget to show us, because we had asked, so. He would be probably willing if he's available to come talk to us, or he could just do it a different way, because I can kind of talk about that before, but, definitely an option.
An update on the new website would be kind of nice.
Yeah.
Marketing, anyone?
Maybe the honors college. It's a Dr. Shortford to sort of talk about how we've navigated having a new college. Maybe also someone from the School of Medicine to navigate how Madison University.
I'm asking you guys, so there's some options that are on the table. Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns?
I think out of the choices, I think my favorite is gonna have to be the honors college dean, just because we haven't seen from him. Very new college, just kind of like hearing from their side of things of how their first really year of being in college is, the struggles they faced. I think that would be a great speaker to come talk to us.
The dean of the School of Nursing might be interesting. Some of the topics that myself and Senator Oakford spoke to her about were intriguing. I'm not sure if it could be an open meeting though for something. Yeah, so, but.
Thinking of education would be.
So we're just gonna list all.
Yeah.
I have questions. No, it's okay, they're good suggestions, we just eventually will have to come down to this one person, ideally, we could have multiple, but like. Multiple on the same topics, like, yeah, all.
Everything means dinner.
But the reason why I'm saying that is because the education program is growing and we do have a new degree plan, so it would be cool to have the presentation on.
I definitely agree, and I would love to have all of the names if we could, but those are the names that you can speak to them about in your meetings and bring us in your student force reports. So I'm talking about people who may not, if we're narrowing it down, I'm talking about people who may not be consistently in our conversations, if that makes sense. Because like I said, you're supposed to be hearing at least once per semester, so hearing from them could have been done at a different time, I guess, but it's not off the table, it's still up to you guys, but there are a lot of deans that I feel like are.
I just have a question for the senators. How important is it to y'all that we have a speaker that is sort of like an end of year speaker? That maybe sort of like ties everything together or is talking about something bigger or in the future, or the same normal sort of speaker that we would have at any point during the year. Would y'all like to see something, someone that we don't usually hear from that wouldn't necessarily go on just a normal day multiple times, or someone a little bit different, or just like for the future?
Yeah, we get like the biggest fish that we can get, like the highest ranking dude, just fill us in on.
Yeah, kind of like summarizes.
Cause it would be kind of cool to hear about like the next things. So like maybe number one, like the big guy.
Well, since Dr. Johnson probably won't be able to make it, that is probably Dr. Moran. In our case of what we've been talking about, like with parking and stuff, and he is coming next week, just a reminder, so I agree.
I think the honors college is good though.
Dr. Tucker, the senior vice president of University Advancement, could be interesting. He has a lot of involvement with alumni. We speak about how kind of their involvement's been this year and how that's affected our university, both with funding and I suppose, mainly the funding zone.
Okay, well, I'm not paying, so if you guys want to keep discussing or you want to take it to a vote, there's a lot of names that were thrown out there, so. Anyone? Any other ideas? I mean, it's not off the table that executive board does just choose, but if that, also, I want that to be your decision. If we do that or? Senator Bennett?
I would make the recommendation, that the executive board makes that decision on the speaker.
He said that. He basically said that once they were.
Okay, Senator Page?
Yeah, I would agree with that, but we don't really have anyone that stands out, I think, among all of us, so if y'all wanna make the decision, or y'all wanna put them on a wheel and spin it.
No, we definitely will take into consideration what you guys have said. That's good feedback. And we fix the speakers all year, and it's good to know, I guess, that we were kind of on the right track with what you guys wanted to hear. So, okay, so I entertain a motion to close discussion.
Carrie Saber.
Second.
Does anyone have anything else to add for new business?
I entertain a motion to talk about similar projects.
Second.
We have two senator projects that are going to be presented. We're gonna, which one of y'all wanna start?
Here's cheaper, so.
Okay.
We're gonna start with Senator Page, so everyone. Page.
All right, it should be. So for context, this was made very quickly, about an hour before the meeting, while I was still under the understanding that we were gonna pull from senator projects. I wanted to end the year with, the campus having something given back. So this is very rough. I would love feedback. Yeah. She said, did not sign in here. Yeah, that's me. Cause you should go to. Let me, hold on. Maybe. Don't click show password. Show Or this way the all of these. 64.
Look.
Better go to 50. In all fairness, I thought you did good.
You need to request.
Okay, let me send you that one.
Just yeah, I know.
Just state public EDA to everybody.
Just what I read.
And save as a file, then send it. Please.
Editor, make her. Okay, you should go. Refresh.
Senator Robles, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, can you give us like a refresh of what senator projects we had in the past?
We haven't had a senator project in 2 years, I wanna say. The last time that the SGA money was allocated for senator projects, the Senate allocated it over the span of 2 years to refurbish the disc golf course, so the concrete slabs that are the serving place for the disc golf course, that used to just be kind of like a dirt patch, and we allocated our money to fix that. So that was our last senator project.
Also in the past, I know you're not on the main campus, but in some of the buildings, we put microwaves so people can lunches. Just little small things that us senators have decided. But the big one has been the disc golf course one.
Did not realize I'm not on Zoom over there, so those of you on Zoom, I'm Senator Page, I'm the senator for Liberty Landing. And my project is in regards to the campus bus stops. As I mentioned a lot after, Campus Connect is a bus service run by the city of Tyler that has 8 different routes. It connects everything from elementary school to college and all over Tyler. So we can go to the next one. Okay, that is the map of our main campus bus route. There are 6 bus stops on campus. This one, that one on campus, that is right out front of the Texas Department of Public Safety, or the big Texas building right there, not our building, though. That one to the right of that is Victory. There are 6 on campus. I am proposing, if they do not have a concrete platform, so now just a sign and dirt next to a ditch, such as the one next to Liberty, you can probably see out that window. If we were to put a 10 foot by 5 foot platform, all of these are open to discussion. That would require 6 80-pound bags of concrete each, totaling 42 concrete bags for a total of $209.16. That's the estimated cost based on Home Depot prices, which are price shop. And actually, if we buy 42 or more, you get a 50 cent per bag discount. So if this got expanded to not just putting a concrete pad, but a concrete pathways, we would save money further down the line. But some of these do already have concrete pads that are right along that sidewalk, such as that northern stop here. There is a bench there, and it's like right along the sidewalk. But as I mentioned, Liberty is the latest thing, it's just next to a ditch. So, if we go to the next slide. All right, so that picture is me. That was my Eagle project before I came here. I would also like to add seating at these bus stops because I know after a long day, classes or clinicals or whatever, I'm not willing to stand there in the rain or just, I'm just not want to stand and stuff. So these benches, this is a excerpt from my proposal project as well. They're about 18 inches tall, 20 inches deep, and 48 inches long. So about 1.5 foot tall, a little over 1.5 foot deep, and 4 feet long. They're heavy. They're not going to get, knocked around too much. They're not going to get beat up. They're made entirely out of 2x4s and some 4x4 posts, which are the legs there. You can see that little Tinkercad drawing. Yeah. The supplies I have listed throughout here will include 20 2x4s, 5 4x4 posts. Both of those are 8 feet long. A 10-pound box of screws, and 1 gallon of waterproofing stain because we want these to last and be durable. That was supposed to create 4 benches for this project. I still have wood sitting in my garage from this project, so that would create more. And we can rework the numbers of all of that. But as you can see, we have the breakdown there, and look at the final slide. Here's kind of the breakdown of everything. $209.16 for concrete. You add in everything else, we're looking at around $375.06. That will be higher. That does not include tax. That doesn't include possibly mismatched prices online. And I would say there's a pretty good chance we can get a lot of this donated. I know that I believe my project total closer to 600. We did more than just the benches. But Home Depot just donated it all. That they thought it would cost. So I don't know how donations work in regards to SGA, but if that is also an opportunity, yeah, we would need the money once we get a actual solidified quote. The only things that are really in question are I need to contact the city transit because I need to find out how close we can actually be to their bus stop signs, because that isn't a university thing really. And would they permit us to put that there? And what standards would they want for their bus stops? Any questions, comments?
Technically 2 questions, but I'll start with you. For one, is labor included in this? Are we going to do this, or are we? How does that come into play? As
Yes, it would be volunteer hours essentially.
Gotcha. And then I was going to ask Chloe for the disc golf stuff that we did. Did we also do that all ourselves? We didn't do anything.
No, we didn't.
Okay.
That was factored into the budget of.
I was curious. Okay, gotcha. That's my
Unless we
question.
work with facilities.
Mhm.
Or we do. Better.
Senator Report, I think that's a great idea. Every time I'm walking by, I at least see at least 2 or 3 people standing out by the Liberty, especially when it's raining. And there's like a big ditch there, and sometimes it overfills, and like you have to like hop over the ditch to kind of get through it. So adding a little awning over there would help keep others out of the rain, especially because over at Liberty, that's the stop you get on to go to Victory. So they are on-campus students, and it would directly benefit them.
The advisory needs had a question on this too.
Yes, of course.
in the chat, who said, love the detail, labor cost, question mark, company to install, question mark, so it seems like we would not.
Yes, so this, would we not be doing this, or would we be able to? That.
We would be
I-
able to allocate money for someone else,
Okay,
but that would have to be factored into.
no, no, that can also be. Figured out.
Senator Adebayo, I just had a question, is the total estimate of like all 42 costs or like all 42 slabs of concrete or like per concrete slab, if that makes sense? Like this total cost over here,
That the cost of concrete? That's total, that's bag of concrete.
oh, so,
So that it is 3 bags per 5 foot by 5 foot slab, and I believe that's for a 4-inch thickness slab. So that would be the total across.
across campus, not per.
Yeah,
per-
yeah, across campus, so.
Before we vote on the thing, we are gonna hear out Senator, Mercado's presentation. Does anyone have any more questions for Senator Page about his Senator?
Yeah.
I think an important question is like, are you allowed, like if you build it, are you allowed to just build stuff and put it on campus? So we don't.
Yes, that would be the same. I'm not looking for a vote today, this is more so a, is this something we'd be interested in, because. If possible, that's what I say, money would be spent on us and, you know, if we could get people from the college, like from the engineering college. I think it would be interesting. Really that chance involvement, but if that is not, we have to hand off and let professionals do this. Great.
Senator Seppi, I really like the idea. My one concern is having the wood out there. I think on a major road like that, it's very easy for someone to just stop by and pick it up and you'll never see the bench again. That's why I'm concerned about that.
So they do make, we can get like little metal brackets, screwed into the post and then just shoot it down to the concrete. Yeah.
Definitely, if you bring this back up, so this next meeting or whatever, I would look into having, costs of the company to do all this, so that we can have that, those numbers up there as well, and then, the little things, but.
Excellent.
It's great, thank you so much.
James F. Chandler, before you can come up. Before Senator Mercado speaks, in our house rules, it does say that we only have 10 minutes to speak during the discussion, so I'd like to entertain a motion to extend that time by another 10 minutes so she can show her presentation. All of those in favor to, wait, am I allowed to do that? Well, you need to do that. We're voting to extend time by next week.
The Senate votes to extend it. She just has like the finals.
Okay, all those in favor of extending the discussion period 10 more minutes, please raise your hand. Okay, please put your hands down. All those opposed to extending the discussion period, please raise your hand. Okay, and any abstentions? Okay, so that passes.
Hey, y'all. So my Senator project is over doggy waste stations because. So these are kind of what the doggy waste stations kind of look like. I was able to find a great deal on Amazon. And they actually do sell these, and that's kind of what the bin would look like. It's about $200 per bin. And they would be about 10 to 11 doggy stations around campus in various locations, mainly in the housing complexes. Why, you might ask. A lot of students on campus have service animals, and most of those service animals are dogs. And with the waste stations, without the waste stations, it's been clear that some people are kind of not picking up after their dog. And it's causing quite a disturbance outside some of the housing complexes. And it's not fun to walk around or try to skip around waste. And so I do see the benefit of having these dog waste stations, so people don't have the excuse of, oh, I forgot my bag, I'll just come back for it later, and then completely forget about it. It's right there in front of you, and there's no excuse. More exactly, so I propose that we put at least one at Oak Hall, 2 at Victory Village. For Liberty Landing, 2 around the lakes, and I believe I said 1 at PV. I was able to get a campus map, and which X's are kind of the areas where I was thinking, they're way more than what I proposed, but these are kind of like the areas of where I believe, looking at it and living on campus myself, I could see the need for these doggy waistbands. What was take out of our center projects, I did the math based on 10 and 11. And it will take the majority of our funds, but we could allocate some less and be able to, if needed, to be able to have more center money left over, so, yeah. Any questions? Okay.
Who would be responsible for refilling them? Is the facility they're nearest to, or?
That would be a conversation I still do need to have with housing as well as our facilities. Which is in that case, Richard, because they do handle most of the outside trash.
I do know that in Liberty, I think there are a few, because near my building, I know there's a doggy waste bin, so I know there are some at Liberty. I don't know how many there are. But I know by my building, kind of where you had one of the exits between 9, 10, and 12, there is one right there.
Okay. Senator Holmes said on the chat that there is one in Oak Hall too. Oh, and there's 2 at Patriot Village, I think.
Okay, so apparently PV just doesn't have them.
Or-
Oh wait, Victory.
Senator Report, there's also one at intramural fields. I was wondering if there's a way to just refill them, because the one on the intramural fields isn't refilled. So it may be a cheaper option to just look into refilling the stations and not building more of them.
Senator Adams, I do see that there's value in having more, but also is this like a fixed cost? Is there any other options than that 199?
That's the cheapest one I could find, but we can always, go shop and see what's cheaper.
Right.
And then. Secretary, I think it's a great idea. I don't really ever see those, but I think that it would be great to shoot for records. I don't think, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think there is any things in the plaza or around the area, so maybe in the bigger public areas where it's open to the community and things like that, we could ensure that we keep those spaces clean. And I will say the top of the bed is really expensive. So 10 to 11, that's the entire budget. I was doing the math and you said it, that's $2K. So I don't think we don't need that, considering that Senator Page's project is great as well. And so like just kind of like balancing that and making sure that yes, we consider the project.
Definitely. And like I said, I wasn't aware that there are some already on campus, so just maybe filling those and then seeing where they're needed, because I know for a fact there's not any at Victory.
This is just real quick. This is a question and kind of just a question. Are there any currently around the lakes that's open to anybody? Because if they're not, I do know people who walk their dog out there, and there's stuff like on the hill where you're going between like the library to the UC. That sidewalk, there is some others. I don't know if there is, but that might be a good place, because there's a lot of grass right there.
Yeah.
I see people out there all the time with their dogs.
Right by the.
Yeah, it was Xed on the map, but if it was any place, that might be a decent.
Just like with both the projects, I think they're both, and I feel like they're both manageable to do both. So something I wanna, is there any more questions for either one?
I know. So from kind of what I'm hearing from everyone is that for this specific project, maybe some refinement in the costs and maybe a little more research in terms of where the current stations already are. And then another question would be, because this seems like a long-term project, so would SGA continue using Senator project funds forever to continue refilling them, or is this just like a big load that we're gonna refill, and then when we run out, we run out?
That would be a kind of housing, it's okay.
Okay. So those are.
just a question for the two of y'all. So we do have a few questions like for Tyler, like labor cost, company cost. And for you, find out accurately, maybe not 10, maybe 10 a little bit excessive, also how much it would cost to fill them. If y'all could get that information for us and come back next week with that information. And so, we would be the ability to vote or in narrowing out any of those little details that we talked about today. And so next week, we have, and also hopefully work together to find the perfect medium of where y'all can share that money. Because I think we all agree that these are both two great ones, and I believe we have the capability to do both. It just requires a little bit of working and, so with that,
One small question, if we have to exceed our budget, there's still like 1,000 left. Are we allowed to dip in that if we have to? More for
For senator projects?
Yes, in the odd case we do. I doubt we will, since it's gonna reduce costs, but I'm just
We
curious.
won't go.
so if there's nothing else.
Just as a reminder, like, how much do we have aside from the banquet to spend on senator projects?
So the project budget is $2,200.
Okay.
And then satellite campuses have their own.
Is it- oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It seems like we could possibly do both depending on how much his is gonna cost for labor, because it only sounds like the lakes really need one. And Victory.
I think once we get information about like what's on campus, we can really like make it efficient, reduce that cost.
So.
Senator Holden had a comment on Zoom that a cheaper alternative could be having a post put in with a dispenser holding bags next to trash cans. Closest one is by Oakville. So it seems like the general consensus is just a little refinement on both the projects, but overall great ideas and we look forward to hearing more. I entertain a motion to close discussion on senator projects.
There is a motion. So
Does anyone have anything else they would like to add?
I would have something I would like to add.
I don't know who's.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm still having a little bit of trouble hearing y'all on the Zoom.
are you opening a discussion? Do you need us to?
Yes.
Okay.
I move to reconsider the decision made earlier to move the banquet date from the 23rd to the 21st.
Second. There was seconded, so go ahead.
Okay, so I don't feel like we were able to fully complete discussion before we moved to a vote on that. And it was also a vote that was kind of made in the last minute. And so some senators probably had plans on that Sunday prior to that vote being made and are not able to change those plans. And so I was wondering how many engineering students would actually be able to come or willing to come to the banquet compared to the senators that we may lose from changing the date. Would we maybe be able to get a head count of seeing who would be able to make the 21st date compared to the 23rd?
Okay, raise your hand if you are able to attend the banquet on the 21st. Like just in general, could you go? Assume that's for you guys as well.
All distance campuses as well, distance and, all senators make it on the Sunday, please. Raise your.
Okay, I'm taking 15 hands, not including the board. Of 16. Okay, please put your hands down. Raise your hand if you can't make the banquet on the 21st at all. You cannot go. Senator Pizarro, did you have your hand up for that you can or you can't make it?
I cannot make it the 21st.
Not make it.
That is a Wednesday, correct?
No, that's the Sunday.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yes, I can make it. Oh my God. Yes, I can make it.
Got it, okay, yeah, it was a yes or a no on the same day, I didn't bring up the document, so. I'm only seeing one hand for not being, two hands, three hands for not being able to make it on the 21st. So.
Yes. Yeah, I guess, wait, do we open the discussion?
Yeah.
We're not getting a discussion.
Yeah, so I guess for like, so maybe we can. Is what work for you, Tina, just in case, like.
Okay, thank you.
What?
I think the point of the discussion was to point out what the difference is. In this case, it's 3 versus 4.
I just want to clarify who could make
Yeah.
it to that.
Well, like,
What is Saturday?
well, no, but like, we didn't count the 23rd. Because that was what she was wondering, if we're dropping off, like, if there's more people that can't make it the 21st compared to
Okay,
the
wait,
23rd.
Senator Woman, so you wanted to see a show of hands for who could make it to the 21st meeting, or?
Yes, I was wanting a show of hands for who was able to make it to the 21st and who was able to make it to the 23rd and see which had the majority of senators that were able to make it.
Okay, so we didn't do the 23rd, so raise your hand if you can make it to the 23rd meeting. Sorry, that was my bad.
I mean, technically everyone should, because it's the exact same time as here. If we want to incorporate,
It is,
Well, in regards to distance,
so if we want to incorporate our distance campuses, and so. I think their voices hold a little bit more value, because we're already here, we're already on the campus. Already here at the time, in the time that we have allotted does not work for our distant campus people. That's why we moved that date to the 21st.
How many more additional people from the distance campuses will there be?
so,
Negative one.
okay, I can't remember, but Senator Robles and Senator Pizarro said that they could make it to the 21st banquet time, but not the 23rd. So if we moved it to the 23rd, they would not be able to attend.
That's 2.
Well, we only have, what, 4 Houston senators?
And 2 of them are not here right now.
Because we have 2 seats allocated for our Houston engineering campus, but some of our engineering, like College of Engineering senators are from the Houston campus, so that's, there are a lot of the engineering. Senator
For, is there absolutely no other date we could do?
We looked at so many dates with executive board, these 2 are.
It is the last month, everything is booked out the wazoo.
We looked at all like the other award ceremonies that are going on, and we're trying to make a date that nothing else is happening, and ideally a weekend. To get our Houston engineering campus senators there, so, but like I said, like not everyone's going to be able to make it, that's just how things work sometimes, so we have voted on having it on the 21st, so. I don't know really what to say. Senator or Chief Justice Matter, do you have a question?
Will it let me? Okay, yeah. I think this is the first year that we've included our distance campuses, right?
Yes.
Okay, I was just gonna say that was really good because I'm sorry, my camera is so blurry, but I just thought that was a really good idea and like really cool on y'all's part that y'all were actually like able to do that this year. So I think it's a really good idea that you tried to do that on a Sunday, especially. I don't know if that like helps anything. I was just saying I liked that idea. So
No, yeah, that's good feedback. Thank you. It's all of our, like, assumptions, feedback board or anything else, so we wanted as many people to be on the same page as possible, but obviously having a unanimous suspicion is almost impossible for anything, so. Does anyone have? I'm gonna take a motion to close the discussion. Okay, to motion second. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to add to this? I entertain a motion to close the business.
Very simple.
Seconded.
Moving on, have advisor comments.
Yep.
All right, so I really did enjoy student voice reports. I did a good job of covering a lot of information, and it was great to hear some of that feedback. And then let's see, going down the agenda. For new business, y'all talked about a lot of different presenters, and I think it's good that y'all are eager to hear from different areas of the institution. And I think some of the recommendations that y'all provided were good ones. And so I know, as some of you all just stated, it is a busy month, and I know the e-board will do a good job. Chloe will do a good job of trying to get some remaining presenters lined out for the remainder of the semester. I'm really grateful and appreciative of the two senators who proposed senator projects. I think this is both were great ideas. I think y'all had some great debate. I think on the concrete one, that will probably more than likely have to be a company will be have to hire to ensure that it's installed safely and securely. But there might be an opportunity for the city of Tyler to assist with that, since this is providing more of an area for the city of Tyler bus stop, just technically on our property. So I think that's going to be a good dialogue between the city of Tyler and our facilities department. And then same thing with the dog waste bins. I know that was a senator project done a couple of years ago. And so that will be up to facilities. I feel fairly certain that can be installed by facilities, but they're going to have a question on who's responsible for the doggy bags once they run out of doggy bags. And so I think don't feel this is something that can continue to be worked on. I know probably by the last meeting we're going to have to vote on that, but there are ways to maybe do a vote up to amount, and then the senators can continue to work on that even into the summertime. Let's see. I think that covers everything, and so y'all done a good job this year. When I met with Soren is spot on as far as what he reported regarding the budget. Y'all done a good job of utilizing y'all's budget, but at the same time making sure that we have plenty of funds to get everything done. I think to just kind of clarify, account charges sometimes take a little bit longer to hit the main account, but we actually looked at what we had available, and then even then, Soren made sure to set aside funds to make sure we don't overspend in the categories that were approved by student government. And so you're doing a great job overall, especially on the budget. And a lot of student group requests have been coming in. And so we are doing our best. Student engagement's doing a good job of trying to stay and get ahead and getting those purchased as quick as we can. And then other than that, that's all I've got. I do want to encourage all of y'all be safe for those commuting and traveling home with this weather, and make sure not to drive over flooded roads or anything like that.
Moving on to announcements, these are left here for a while. Anchor games, April 12th, 4 to 7. Make sure y'all go out support.
I have a quick thing for that. I'm gonna run a football from the HBC real quick, so if y'all are playing, just like follow me, we'll go the ball around a couple minutes, just figure out what we're doing. So for like the 5 people that are in.
Oh, Josh, you wanna?
Yes, I'm sorry. That does fall under announcements. So this is perfect. Senator election wrapped up, and I finally had time today to update the website. Yesterday was a little busy with the eclipse, but everything was solidified over the weekend. No complaints. Pretty simple election. So feel free to check that out online. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the executive board or myself. But incoming president, Sorts is working on making those phone calls. There is a chance that everybody that was on the ballot will be in student government next year. And I believe she's already working on some appointments as well. So just want to let you know about senators. We are officially done with elections this semester.
Or were you, do you wanna keep talking about?
Okay.
Okay, and then, SGA service event, April 19th, 9 to 3, we at the plaza for recycling. It's required.
Like I said, we're only really requiring you like an hour. If you want to stay y'all release there for an hour. If in the morning, that's okay. If it's later in the day, during for the end, that's okay, as long as you help for the bare minimum of an hour. They did more for like, that's not a lot to ask for just an hour of the day, just help.
Any other announcements? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Carrie said motion.
Okay. I got it.